Welcome to the bold analysis. The fight against corruption in Ruto's government has to remain a checked matter. President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza team campaigned on a platform that they were a targeted lot and they were victims of state-engineered corruption cases, criminal offenses, and that the social justice system, the criminal justice system, was used against them to even stop them from running for offices. And the fight against corruption is fluid. Even though I am one person that is a crusader of protection of the public coffers, but I also want to agree with Abdullah Nasir that if you fight corruption, it's one of the biggest tools you can implement, you can use to make sure that you have money and service delivery is really not compromised. I want us to look at these three controversial cases that have been causing jitters in this country and casting doubt on whether William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua are really committed in fighting corruption, or they have turned the sword that was given to them against individuals. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. It is suffice to say that something has to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, are you a service provider in a sector, medicine, wellness, tours and travel, cleaning services, and you're hiring? I want to remind you about Zuri.ke. This is a solution that helps you to reach out to clients and you can sell your professional work there. Visit dozuri.ke and interact so that you can use the platform to sell your services or product. It will connect service providers with legitimate clients. Now, 3 cases. On the same day, a High Court ordered a reversed acquittal of former National Assembly Majority Leader Amos Kimunya and former Director of Land Abdication Lilian Ng'ang'a. And in fact, I want to say it this way. Today, the High Court dismissed MP Waluke and Grace Wahungu appeal over sentencing of the 297 million maize scandal. These two had been sentenced and for some time, so they went to appeal, and after they appealed, actually the Sirisa MP Waluke was participating in the last election and again won that seat and is actually a sitting MP now. And after that, now today they appealed, but that appeal has been thrown away, and now they have an option of being in the jail for Waluke 67 years or pay a fine of 1 billion. Same to Grace Wahungu, 69 years. Or rather, they also pay the fine. So on Sirisa is Waluke is a Sirisa MP. And of course, this is a case that had been in court. In fact, one of these cases, there is a case that has been so harsh, that the judges have been so harsh on. I think it is this one. But of course, that's my opinion. Now, the same day, this sentencing was done, the High Court also stopped prohibited prosecution of 5 persons that were named in the scandal involving former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu. Ferdinand Waititu, I remember when he was impeached on grounds of misappropriation of coffers, of funds in Kiambu County government. And when he tried to get to the campaign trail and blamed these cases that he was targeted because of supporting William Ruto at one point, and he was actually saying that the charges were state engineered. So he campaigned for William Ruto, and you can see that there is now his case has now been, the High Court has prohibited prosecution of the 5 persons on the grounds that they're still doing investigation, or rather that the evidence is not sufficient. And I have seen DPP have vowed to go and appeal against that dismissal, saying that maybe they are not comfortable with it. But it looks like saving face, because the public is already feeling that something is not right. In the same measure, Amos Kimunya case that had ended, the acquittal has been reversed. Acquittal of the Amos Kimunya 60 million case involving Nyenga has been reversed. We also know that just a week ago, a case that was involving Rigathi Gachagua was also adjourned prematurely. And someone might be seated and look at the pattern and find a common denominator, that not any person that is close to William Ruto, or rather that campaigned with William Ruto, is facing that, is getting that harshness. So anyone who was around President William Ruto is actually getting sort of some reprieve. I want to ask a question. Is it in the spirit of state capture, really, or it's camouflaging to other cases? And in this video, I want to mention there are 4 things. These 4 aspects, if they remain unmarked, this is what will sink William Ruto's fight on corruption. If in case he has that ambition, or that is part of his plan. I am one person that has insisted that if there is a weak link, and William Ruto needed to prove us wrong. Remember, at the campaign trail, his opponents blamed him as a man who was associating with people who are corrupt, and they casted doubts whether his government would fight corruption. So to prove the naysayers wrong, I think he will be the first person that would have shown best foot forward and even convict some of his close friends and close political associates. With that, he would have proved naysayers wrong. But this trend sounds a bit not showing the real picture. These 4 things will really affect William Ruto. The image that can come out that judiciary led by Martha Koome is complicit. The High Court is under judiciary. And from the last general election, and after the court process that Martha Koome handed over upheld William Ruto's victory. From that, there has been a perception that William Ruto seems to have brought, or rather gone very close with the judiciary. And he seems to have boxed the courts on his side. That understanding, many analysts criticized that it can be perceived in some grounds as if he can use that, he can influence decisions on the other end. But Martha Koome was also perceived as someone who, the Martha Koome team, as a team which did not just support Azimio, or rather they never listened to Azimio. On this ground, the perception that they supported William Ruto will be carried along the way. When such decisions and such lines are being drawn, that cases on William Ruto's associates are collapsing, while cases on the Azimio side seems to be moving well. And I'm saying moving well because all the cases should move well to their logical conclusion. So this will not, and I think you will have to make a sacrifice to push one so that people see the balancing act. In fact, one of the issues that comes is the balancing act in corruption, because that's what brings the public confidence that you're committed. The other thing that he must also check is the power struggle between DPP and DCI. In the last dispensation, there were public differences on who is superior than the other. You will see a situation where a case, the DPP, the investigator is the DCI, the DPP is supposed to process the file and take to court, to prosecute. So there were counter complaints that you gave us you did not give watertight evidence on the case, you did not present what. So even if the DPP takes, but the person that does the big work is the DCI who does the investigative role. And this was used, and I can tell the president that fight between DPP and DCI was successfully used by corruption cartels to evade the dragnets of the courts. Either if DCI could not dance to your tune, you will go to DPP. And if DPP could not dance to your tune, you will. And if that is not tamed, we are still going to be at the status quo. Revisit schemes might erode intensity. There are some that will be like, okay, you had charges against us because of politics. We are also doing this. And it can also be used as a way to send warnings that we have started the small fish, but we are coming for you. It might erode the public confidence on the issue. But I want to say, in the spirit of I will serve all without fear or favor, the President William Ruto should make sure and should ensure that perception of selective administration of justice does not come up. Whether it will be used for people to take immunity and to politicize their cases, but it's one of the perceptions that is very difficult to erode. Selective administration of justice. And it started at the IBC at one point where Ofulache Bukati was just dismissing Kulundu. Because when that selective administration of justice, when that narrative sinks, actually it will be difficult. Because at the end of the day, you will actually lose popularity. That is what was used in 2012 when Raila Odinga was doing Mau eviction, was in charge of Mau eviction. The William Ruto went and said that selectively Raila was targeting them. And that's how Raila lost. So the homeboy mentality is targeting our own. That's one thing that William Ruto should just make sure that, because it's very powerful. When it comes, especially for the politicians, it blows out. And now people take cover in their community. But I believe that corruption is a virus that we must fight to the tooth. That's my bold analysis.